Shalom. So this is another sensitive topic. Again, I'll be stressing the same thing over and over. For people who are coming from denominations like Adventist, this is going to be hard to perceive. But I do pray that the Most High remove the veil a bit. Right? So we're talking about Asmodius and binding him. A lot of us don't believe in the spirit realm. We don't believe that these things are really happening to people. So sometimes some people come and share their experience with us. We look at them as if they're stupid, and it happens a lot because of our lack of understanding, right? Because of the way we were taught and so forth. So, but at the end of the day, we are really affecting other people worse, because when they look up to us for deliverance, and this is what we have to tell them, and you will see where it also happened with this woman. So let's look at Tobit chapter 3 and verse 8. I'm just going to go to the key verses. You can read the chapter on your own. It says, because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus the evil spirit had killed, before they had lain with her, dost thou not know, said they, that thou hast strangled thine husband? Thou had already 7 husbands, neither was thou named after any of them, meaning it did not go through, right? So there was this demon there destroying everything that she tries to get a hold of regarding marriage, right? So that was basically his job, to do such kind of things, right? As you can see, what you're looking at here is the function of Asmodius, right? He's an adversary to union. So you might be fine, but that moment you decide to get into that relationship, there comes all the, all the temptation, all the trials, everything. So one of his job is just to be an adversary to marriage union, right? His job is also to separate the husband from the wife from the husband, so discord in the household, right? So you might, move in with your partner or get into a relationship, you find out that, oh, you're just not doing well together, no matter what, no matter how much you feel for her or how much she feels for you, how much you love each other. That has nothing to do with it when there is a force that is there to separate you both, right? The next one is temptation, right? Like I mentioned in the other video, if you watched it, it is about desire. So he will prey up on your desire. Wherever you have a sense of lack, he will prey upon that part, right? So if you're a person who likes to get validated by others, who likes to seek attention, anything outside of yourself is an open door for him, right? Another thing he does is prompt into adultery, like when you read in Job, where it says the man seeketh and mark the houses by day and go in night to seek, it makes you leave your wife at home, you leave your husband at home. You say, oh, you're working late, you are going to have a girls' night out, you are going to hang out with the boys, you're going to do. No, you're going to chill with Asmodeus. That's what it really is, right? So take away the storyline, you will see what the reality is. All right. The next thing is he stir up jealousy to murder, right? And we saw that with David, right? And as the scripture says, the jealousy is the rage of a man. So yes, he has hand in that, right? Now there are ways to deal with Asmodeus in our lives, or people around us, right? So all right. So the first thing is, in any form of healing or deliverance, the primary thing is always praying. All right. So what you're gonna need is restraint. You're gonna have to restrain your urges, right? 3 days, 3 nights prayers. You're gonna go to bed, still gonna go to bed with the person, still gonna do whatever, but you're not gonna engage. All right. So you're not gonna have Asmodeus having any form of effect or control over you to prompt you into any act, right? So the person has to have the ability to restrain himself or herself, right? And you're gonna pray 3 days, 3 nights, and in prayers, Raphael is the one that brings the prayers to the Most High, right? And also in these battles against Asmodeus, he's the ones that you summon in your prayers to fight for you, right? So prayer is one of the primary things, right? Now, number two, what we're gonna look at is the jealousy aspect of Asmodeus. Let's go to chapter 6, and we're gonna go to verse 14. What you'll see now, it says, "And now I am the only son of my father, and I am afraid." Yes, I mean, any person would have a fear to know that she was married to 7 husbands and they all died, and you're gonna have that fear naturally. It says, "Lest if I go in unto her, I die as the other before, for a wicked spirit loveth her." Now, what you're seeing right here is there is this jealous spirit that is there. When it says it loves her, this is a jealous spirit, and this is why it destroys anybody else who tries to come between the woman and Asmodeus, or the man and Asmodeus. Now, Asmodeus comes in two forms. He has a masculine thing, a masculine spirit, a male spirit for the men, right? And the female spirit for the woman. So you'll hear terms like succubus, which is relating to the woman, and incubus, which is relating to the man, right? So it's really about lying on top of or in, right? So that's what happens with the woman and with the man, where succubus and incubus are concerned. So this jealous spirit that grabs hold on that partner and that person and that individual, and causes a lot of problem in their lives, right? Makes it hard for you to have a functional relationship, makes it hard for you to have any form of interest towards your partner, and it brings a lot of discomfort, distress, and it can lead to suicidal thoughts. And as you can see also, if you go back to verse 3, you'll realize that even her maids were, pushing they were pushing the matter, because it was pushing her towards going to the suicide, and it was for the love of her father, for the love of her parents, that it was what was preventing her from doing the suicide. And it's the same for a lot of us today. We will have suicidal thoughts, but maybe you have a child and you're saying, "Oh, if I should go, who's going to take care of the child?" So for that reason, you are holding on, right? So it says, verse 7, "It came to pass the same day that in Ecbatane, a city of Media, Sarah the daughter of Rachel was also reproached by her father's maids." So it was the maids, because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus the evil spirit had killed before they had lain with her. "Dost thou not know," said the maid, "that thou hast strangled thine husband? Thou hast had already 7 husbands, neither wast thou named after any of them. Wherefore dost thou beat us for them? Why are you taking out your anger on us? Why are you right? If they be dead, go thy ways after them." So what the maid is telling the woman, hey, those men are dead, go after them, go and kill yourself, just as you kill those men, right? "Let us never see of thee either son or daughter, so don't bring forth any fruits." All right, it says, when she heard these things, she was very sorrowful. And this is what it really does. So when you're around people, when you're going through these spiritual attacks, and you're around people who are not aware or conscious of the effect, or how personally you're going to take their words, this is going to drive you to sorrow, right? Sorrow into the sadness, and the sadness to depression. When you reach that state of depression, now you open doors for suicidal thoughts. This is why it says, "So that she thought to have strangled herself." So now she's doing what? Thinking about suiciding. She's been pushed to suicidal thoughts. So these are just levels of doors that keep opening in the minds, and the weaker the mind is, that's it, easier. All right, so I'm gonna go back to chapter 6 around here. No, it says, for the jealous spirit, for a wicked spirit loveth her, which hurteth nobody, but those which come unto her. So guess what? You might have a lot of male friends, or for a man, he might have a lot of women friends. The relationship will be good because it's just social or platonic. But the moment it's involving intimacy or sex or anything like that, that's the problem. It says, for a wicked spirit loveth her, which hurteth nobody, but those which come unto her. Wherefore I also fear lest I die and bring my father's and my mother's life because of me to the grave with sorrow, for they have no other son to bear them. Alright, so one way to bind this obsession, right, is number 2 says mixing ashes from wood fire with water. Say the name 3 times and then drink. So when you have that obsession where you are actually tied to a person, and this is done through the casting of spell, this is one way to summons Asmodius through spells, and also it can come naturally through the weakness of the mind, right? So you get the ashes from the wood fire, you mix it in the water, you say the name 3 times, and you drink it, and that will break free. And also with the sweat, you can get a new shirt, you sweat in it, and you drink back the sweat, and that also breaks free from that. But there are different levels sometimes depending on the spell that has been cast, right? It says smoke from fish liver and heart. Now, this was mentioned here in verse 16. It says, and when thou shalt come into the marriage chamber, thou shalt take the ashes of perfume, and shall lay upon them some of the heart and the liver of the fish, and shall make a smoke with it, because we know that certain spirits cannot take certain scent, and this is why in the temples we continually burn the incense, because they cannot stay around those, the odor from the incense. And also with the prayers that go up in the temple, this is why I say prayers and deliverance, they are inseparable, right? It's always important to pray. So the smoke of the incense going up is synonymous with the prayers going up. So if you're not offering any form of incense, your prayers would be the real offerings, right? So the smoke from the fish liver, as you can see, this fish is around the river Tigris, so I don't know what type of fish this is, or if it works with any type, but it says here that in verse 1, and as they went on their journey, they came in the evening to the river Tigris. Not all the fishes in the river of Tigris is going to be in everywhere else, so maybe it's a specific type of fish. I'm not getting into that, because I'm not going to put out wrong information or things that I don't know about. Now, number 4. This is very important, because when you're dealing with Asmodeus, when you're dealing with succubus and incubus, you are dealing with water spirits. And again, I'm going to go back to the Western culture or the Western perspective of water baptism, right? Water baptism is not what you see in Christianity, or not the Hebrew ideology of water baptism that they keep speaking against. All right? Dealing with water, you are dealing with element. And that's very important, right? Water, they have their own spirits, and we know about the marine kingdoms and so forth, right? So in water baptism, this is where you get the red wine and you mix it with the Florida water, right? And you recite Psalms 35, speak deliverance and freedom over your life, and you take a bath. Let that energy run down in the water, and you free yourself of the energy that was attached to you. So these are methods that you can use to bind Asmodeus. And if you're doing that water baptism, if you're in whatever river you are, make sure that there's no one else there. Otherwise, the person, whatever you're washing off you, that energy is going to get onto that person. So that's very important. The thing about water baptism, what a lot of these Hebrews don't understand is it is real. The deliverance is real, the cleanse is real, but it's just that they have a wrong ideology of it, right? I've done baptism before where people pass out objects, things that were inside of them, and this is the purpose of baptism, because whatever a person is, whatever they had done to you, it's going to manifest in the form of an object. Not that the object is real. When I say real, I mean that thing that is coming out, it's spiritual, but you're gonna see something physical, something that you can identify, but it's not something real. So you'll find what is coming out of you is not even in, can be found in your region, right? So this is how it works actually. So when people say they're going through these things, are they feeling certain ways inside? It is real, right? And this is why it's important for you to talk to people who have knowledge about these things, because they will make you feel stupid and go crazy, right? So yes, these are ways, and this is how you bind Asmodius. Shalom.